welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about my psychology major. If you don't know, I am a double major, but today we're just going to talk about my psychology major, some of the classes that I'm taking, what kind of degree I'm getting, what I plan to do with it, stuff like that. I have been absent on YouTube for a while and I am sorry. Short story, if you have a MacBook and you do videos, you know how quickly your startup disk gets full. And I was having storage issues and I had so many videos filmed and I couldn't edit because I couldn't import footage. I could barely check my email. Like, if you have a MacBook, you know how annoying it is when your startup disk gets full. So I finally figured it all out and fixed it. But yeah, I will be uploading more frequently now that I know how to clear my startup disk properly. So without further ado, we're just going to get right on into this video. Okay, so to start off with what kind of degree I am going to be getting, like I said in the beginning of the video, I am a double major, but we're just going to be talking about my psychology major. If you want to know all about being a double major, just leave a comment and I will gladly do a video about that. But we're just going to be talking about my psychology major today. So I am going to be getting a Bachelor's of Science degree in forensic psychology. Now, it depends on what school you go to. Some schools you have like psychology, and then you could have like a concentration like clinical psychology or school psychology or social psychology. At my school you can get a Bachelor's of Arts in psychology, and I think we have concentrations, and then you can go the route that I'm going, which is a Bachelor's of Science in forensic psychology. If you don't know what forensic psychology is the study of psychology and the law. So it kind of puts those two together. So as far as some of the classes that I take, I'm not going to name off every class that I have to take to graduate, but some of the classes that I have to take are abnormal psychology. I have to take forensic aging, which is the study of the elderly in the law. I also have to take like motivation and emotion, behavioral neuroscience. I have to take a capstone, which is almost like a dissertation for undergraduate, if you guys know what a dissertation is. And then I have to take like a senior comprehensive exam. So there's like some really interesting classes that I have to take. I have to take a psychology and a law class, obviously, because that's what my major is. And like I said, depending on what school you go to, your curriculum is going to be different. Your major is obviously going to be different. Some schools you just get a Bachelor's of Arts in psychology and they don't have a concentration or anything like that. You kind of choose that when you go to graduate school. Whereas my school, we have like the regular psychology route, we have forensic psychology, and I'm pretty sure you can pick like a concentration or something like that. Something that you can focus in, and then your core classes are going to be kind of focused around that concentration. So I do get a lot of questions on like whether psychology is a hard major or you know, is it really time consuming? I will say it is. Psychology, it's a lot of information that you have to remember, and you're also kind of, you know, dealing with someone's life depending on what area of psychology that you want to go into. I want to go into the clinical forensic psychology, so I am not only dealing with the mentally ill, I'm also dealing with the mentally ill who are in the criminal justice system. So this is someone's life and freedom that you're basically have in your hands, and you know have to remember a lot of information. So for example, I have to remember the recidivism rate for the mentally ill, whether it's a felony or a misdemeanor. I have to remember that information, so when it's time for them to go to mental health court, I can kind of guesstimate on if they're going to recidivate or not. You know, so stuff like that you have to remember. So it is a lot of information that they expect you to remember, and that can be a problem for some people because it is a lot of information, and some people don't do well with memorizing information, and especially information that you will continue to use throughout your schooling and throughout your career. So this isn't a, you know, you remember for a semester to pass the class and then you forget about it. Like, you have to remember this stuff because you will use this eventually sometime. As far as am I passionate about this? I'm very passionate about psychology. I'm very passionate about both of my majors. I'm very, very passionate about psychology. If you ask anyone who knows me, psychology is my thing. I figured out I wanted to be a psych major when I was a junior in high school. That's when I really was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I took a psychology class my sophomore year of high school, and I was like, okay, I really do like this. And then my junior year, I took AP Psych, and we got more in depth with everything. And then that's when I really found out what I wanted to do. And that's when I found out I wanted to go the clinical forensic psych way, or path, if you will. So basically what I want to do when I graduate from undergraduate, I do plan on going to graduate school and getting my Psych D, which is your doctorate of psychology in clinical forensic psychology with a concentration in law enforcement. That's a lot, I know, but that's really what I plan on doing once I leave here. And then from that, career wise, I do want to work within the criminal justice system. I do want to work with the mentally ill within that system. So mental health courts and inside of prisons, and rehabilitating them and things like that. That's really what I want to do. And then eventually my end goal is the FBI. I really want to go to the FBI, not because I watch Criminal Minds, even though Criminal Minds is one of my favorite shows. That is not why I want to go to the FBI. I think when people, you know, think of forensic psychology, they automatically think of the FBI, and they automatically think of profiling. And going into the FBI, you don't automatically become a profiler. Like, there's steps that you have to take to become a profiler, and there's other things that they use psychology majors for other than profiling. So even though that would be kind of cool, no, there's other things that they can use my degree for. But my end goal is the FBI. Like, my ultimate end goal, once I'm done in the prison system and everything, my ultimate end goal is the FBI. Just some tips if you're in high school and you're thinking about becoming a psychology major, or even if you're in college and you don't really know the route that you want to take, I would say find what you love to do. There's so many areas of psychology that you can go into. So I would say research every area of psychology possible. There's so many. And when people think of psychology, they think of clinical psychology, like being a psychiatrist or a psychologist diagnosing people, prescribing medication and things like that. And that's not all there is to psychology. There's so many other routes that you can take. So first thing I would say is to research every area of psychology, see what they're all about. And I would say find one that interests you the most, or what you like to do the most. And then from there, I would say look at like the degree requirements for what you want to do. Some areas of psychology you only need a bachelor's degree, where other areas of psychology, for instance, like to be a psychiatrist you have to go to medical school, or other areas of psychology you need a doctorate degree or a master's degree. So once you figure out what area you want to go into, look at the degree requirements to actually do what you want to do. Once you do that, if you're in high school, I will say research every school possible that has the program that you want to go into. Even if they have just like a regular psychology degree and you have a concentration, and they have the concentration, you know, if you want to do school psychology and they have that concentration, then that's okay too. But you don't want to go into a school that just has psychology and you know, want to specifically do forensic psychology, for example, because they're not really gonna, your core classes, they're kind of gonna be scattered. Like, you're gonna take psychology classes from every, you know, concentration, and it's not gonna be really what you know, really want to focus on. So I would say really do your research in different schools and see what they have. Don't limit yourself to, you know, one school. I would say really just do your research on all types of schools and kind of figure out what school will be the best school for you. Another thing that I recommend is to join the psychology honors club, or is it a fraternity? I don't know, whatever. It's called Psych-Hi. It's the National Honors Society for Psychology Majors. I recommend that you guys join that, just because, you know, it kind of is a more networking opportunity. It is an honor society, and it's national, it's for life, you know, so it is something to put on your resume, but I think it's more of another networking opportunity for, you know, you have different people who are in the field of psychology that can help you out, whether it's you know, jobs or internships or different things like that, you're in this big pool of people who are, you know, doing the same thing as you or interested in the same thing as you, and they can really help you out in places that you never even thought of before. Psychology for me is a very fun major. I've learned so many interesting things, and especially within the forensic psychology major, you know, they're integrating psychology and the law, so you learn so many things, especially when it comes to, like, you know, mentally ill, what happens when they commit a crime, how do they convict them, and then, you know, if you're into law, you know, there's the mens rea, the actus reus. The mens rea is the criminal mind, and then the actus reus is the criminal intent. So if the mens rea isn't there, then are they really guilty? You know, there's so much stuff that goes into it, and I love law, but I don't really want to go to law school. And then, of course, I'm very passionate about psychology, so I'm passionate about the both of them. I'm just not passionate enough about law to go to law school. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, all of it is, like, really interesting. The stuff that you learn, you know, not a lot of people know there are mental health courts. So people, you know, a lot of people think that the mentally ill go through, you know, just the regular court system, and some of them do. You do have to have, like, a chronic mental illness to go through mental health court, so there is some stipulations with that, but a lot of people don't even know mental health courts exist, so it's understandable for them to think that everyone just kind of goes through the regular court system. A lot of people don't know there's a drug court either, so, you know, it's just a lot. You want to, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, once I graduate and get into my career that I want to bring awareness to. For example, how the mentally ill are treated within the prison system. You know, it's really unfair. A lot of them are in prison because they have nowhere else to go. If you guys don't know, they basically deinstitutionalized mental health facilities, meaning they took them all away, basically to give the mental health people, mental health individuals more rights. Individuals with mental health, they're a person before the illness. So yeah, individuals with mental health, they wanted to give them more rights because they weren't being treated fairly in the mental health facilities either. But once they deinstitutionalized it, they kind of took everyone, especially those with, like, chronic mental illnesses. And then if you really think about it, these people really don't have anywhere to go. So they just kind of took these people and they threw them out on the street and was like, there you go. Which is not, it's like, where do they go now? They can't afford their medication. There's no one telling them it's time to take your medicine. They don't know when to take their medicine. They don't have access to their medicine. So then they end up in the prison system. Where else are they supposed to go? And some people, you will find, commit crimes just to go to jail so they can get their medication, because there they kind of make you take your medicine, and it's kind of sad for people to have to commit a crime to go to jail. Like, you shouldn't have to resort to, you know, robbing or anything like that just to get medicine. So yeah, if you guys can't tell, I'm very, 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 very passionate about my major. It is time consuming. I am in the library a lot, but that also goes along with me being a double major and having a minor, so I do have a lot more work. But I am definitely going to start doing internships. Psychology is a very time consuming major. You will spend a lot of your time in the library. You will spend a lot of time looking things up, figuring things out. Like, it's not, you know, an easy major. I don't think any major is, you know, quote unquote easy, but psychology is definitely not a easy major. You know, there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of studying. There's a lot of, you know, researching. There's so much that goes into it. And like I said, there's so many areas of psychology that, you know, there's areas of psychology that people would have never thought it was an area of psychology. You know, so psychology is very broad and has so many areas to it that I think, you know, if you're interested in psychology, I think you can find an area that interests you the most. You know, clinical psychology, forensic psychology, you know, is what I like the best. I did have a few people ask me why won't I go to medical school, or why don't I go to medical school to become a psychiatrist. I thought about it. I honestly thought about going to medical school, becoming a psychiatrist, getting my MD and everything. But, you know, I don't think I'm very interested in prescribing medicine. I don't care for it too much. I think I'd rather diagnose them and then kind of refer them to someone else to get their medication if need be, or really just focus on counseling or rehabilitating them. So yeah, medical school, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be just as hard as graduate school, if not a little bit harder. I just don't, you know, prescribing medicine, I don't think I really care for it too much, honestly. I really don't. I'd rather focus more on the counseling and things like that rather than prescribing medicine. How many times am I gonna say that? That completes this video about my psychology major and being a psychology major in general. If you guys have any other requests for school related videos, just leave them in the comments down below. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel so you guys can get more videos from me. And like I said, I'm going to be uploading way more frequently now, so make sure you're subscribed so you can see my videos. So I'll see you guys in the next video.